What's up, guys? So, if you watched my last podcast, I promised that I would be getting back into doing album reviews and that sort of a thing because it was a lot of fun for me to do a couple years ago, and I was getting a lot of views. So, I'm not necessarily expecting a lot now, but perhaps it would be good for my channel if I kind of went back to doing something that was working for me and getting back into critiquing music and talking about music on this channel because I love music. So it'd be good to kind of get back into that habit. So we're gonna start off the revival of that series, so to speak, with Sudden Sky, album number 4 by Crown the Empire. Now, this one hurts because Crown the Empire are a favorite of mine. Crown the Empire are the reason that I listen to heavy metal, pop punk, alternative, deathcore. Not really deathcore, but the reason I was introduced to a lot of those subgenres beyond metalcore, post-hardcore, stuff like that, heavy metal in general. And they're the reason that I went to 5 Warped Tours. So, Crown the Empire is the band that started it all for me. They shifted the course of my life as I know it in September of 2013 with a song called The Fallout. Again, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. It changed the course of my life as I knew it and completely altered my taste in music and my preferences and broadened my horizons. So I happily trekked forward with Crown the Empire through their next couple of albums. The Resistance, Rise of the Runaways expanded on what made the Fallout so memorable and so epic, and really readied the band for these stadium capacity hard rock histrionics. And Retrograde kind of expanded their sound, in a more general term, and perhaps position them to lead their genre going forward. But that was before everything fell apart. So in January of 2017, Dave Escamilla, the co-lead vocalist and guitar player for the band, announced that he was leaving Crown the Empire, and with his departure came some subsequent revelations that Retrograde was not written by the band themselves. They were actually forbidden from being in the studio to contribute to writing, and that the rock star lifestyle had gotten to pretty much everyone in the band, Dave included. And as it related to making the music, he felt like he was just someone being paid to do a job. And that's not why he grew up wanting to be a musician. So in good faith, he left the band, not liking the situation that was going on. And so he left the band, and their response was to publicly insinuate that Dave had never contributed creatively to the band throughout his tenure. And he's easily their most talented member, doing the screams, the guitar playing. By the end of his tenure, he was a way better singer than Andy, even though Andy's a great singer. Dave just outclassed him on Retrograde. Go back and listen to Kaleidoscope and Aftermath and a few other songs on that album. Dave sings his ass off, and he's way better than Andy by the time we get to the end of his run with Crown the Empire. So, but just like that, everything I believed to be true about them as musicians and as people just faded into oblivion. I thought they were a bunch of stand-up guys that wrote these impassioned lyrics and hooks about rebellion and revolution. Turns out they're just paid shills that will write or sing whatever lyrics you throw in front of them, and they'll throw shade at you if you kind of break the monotony, try to shift the paradigm a little bit. So these guys are dicks to me now. Again, these guys I grew up, or not really grew up, but I idolized them in the latter half of my high school years and the first couple years to follow after graduating high school, and to see their true colors kind of come out in the light like that was really disconcerting for me as a fan, and it left me very skeptical of what was to come going forward in terms of the music. And that's never a good sign. You should never go into an album, especially if you're as invested as I am, you're hanging on every word. You shouldn't go into it expecting to dislike it and being so cynical and having really watered down expectations. So when lead-off single 2020 came out, I instantly knew that what was to come was going to be a pile of horseshit, because what that song is just a piss poor attempt at trying to be epic and creative and bombastic without providing legs for it to stand on. So a lot of what you're going to find on this album are a lot of really cheesy, cliched lyrics about fear, insecurity, having questions that are unanswered, stuff like that. I mean, these from the cheesy song titles, Misery spelled MZRY, to the god awful album artwork. Jesus Christ, well, what the hell is that artwork? To a lot of the really sappy and kind of lifeless lyrical content that, there's nothing creative to speak of at all. Ooh, I like that lighting. I'm testing the waters with these new reviews, but yeah, I mean, you got songs on here like "What I Am" that are really great songs, and prove that Andy Leo can still belt out a great chorus, and that the band can really succeed when they don't get in their own way. And then we have songs on here. I'm looking at the track listing because a lot of these are very forgettable. There's songs like "Blurry" and "Red Pills," where the band tries to capitalize on some of their smarter hard rock intentions, and it shows off what the band can really do when they get creative, but they don't be too sporadic and abrasive about these wintry bass lines and stuff like that, and the overly fleshed out production value. And the rest of the album is just a sloppy mess of electronic bells and whistles and noises and synths bass lines and all kinds of sound effects that do nothing to conjure up anything creative or memorable whatsoever. And that comes through on songs like the title track. Again, these songs are so forgettable. I'm forgetting their names, and they're right in front of me. The title track, which closes out the album, "Sudden Sky," that's the band's attempt at trying to harken back to some of their heavier metalcore roots. And bass player Hayden Tree tries his hand at screen vocals, as he's done for the band alive since Dave left. But he's no Dave. He can't approach Dave's territory whatsoever. It leaves you longing for the days when Dave would bludgeon you with his screams, and those fun instrumentals would really back him up. But now we've got a bass player who can't do screams to save his life, backed up by a live instrumental track that is drowned to death with all of these bells and whistles and sound effects. That, I mean, this album sounds manufactured at the end of the day. But you, the listener, can take refuge in knowing the band didn't write it themselves. Brendan Brone and some ghostwriters did that. So, Crown the Empire, a band that was so promising, had so much potential, they were so much fun to listen to, so enjoyable. Now a band that, again, they'll write whatever you put in front of them. There's nothing inspiring or uplifting. There's nothing organic about this in terms of the music, the composition, and just what you know about it going into it. So again, to talk about a band that doesn't write their own shit, and again, the music itself is not organic. It's heavily produced and manufactured, and I mean, I find more organic stuff listening to pop music, and that's saying something because a lot of pop music today is terrible. So again, there are moments. "What I Am" is a great song. "Blurry" and "Red Pills" do a decent job at conjuring up those not the heavier roots, but like the better hard rock intentions that Crown the Empire touch base on their last couple of albums. But other than that, the rest of the album is a sloppy mess, and it's a lazy, uninspired attempt at being creative and epic without actually trying to, and backing it up with anything organic and giving it legs to stand on. So I'm giving this a 2 out of 5, which I think is being generous. So let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed this review, smack the like button, leave a comment, subscribe. See you next time.